Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Normally I introduce the Upanishad with some background of the Upanishad, the meaning. I thought this for a change, let me introduce it the way Swami Chinmayanji did it for us many years ago. Okay. Because I'm sure many of you have not had the pleasure of hearing him live. Some of you may have, but not all of you. So in this, he says, here is a young man. He has studied some of the Shastras, etc. in the Gurukulam. And then he's come home. But the thought keeps bugging him. Is what the Shastra is saying true or not? So there are Pandits around. He's kept discussing with them, they quote things, and he also knows those quotes. But never satisfied. He can also say Brahman is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, etc., all that he can say. The guy is never satisfied. And then this question is bugging him, is this true? At the same time, young man come back from the Gurukula. The tradition was, you finish your studies, you get married and start your life, Have your kids, Grahastha get into Grahastha then you're free also earlier. By the time you're 50, your children have already grown up and doing things on their own. But this question is bugging him. And the pressure of getting married, etc. So he decides, no, I can't do all that until I know the truth. I know whether all this thing is true or not. So on a moonlit night, he slips away from home. Okay. He slips away, going to the Himalayas. This is a trek that thousands of seekers have done over generations and over thousands of years. And those days, nowadays people fly. When I went by train and bus. Flights were not there. So, he went. And it's a difficult route. Uncharted territory. No GPS available. No maps available also proper. So he lands up. And then some food he has carried with him, but how long? Those days to reach Rishikesh itself would take a month of walking. Okay, in the villages, etc., you will get some food, but after that what? Once you leave the villages behind, what? You have to rely on the trees, on the fruits that are there. And you don't know which fruit to eat and which not to eat. You're not bred in the wild. Some of them, if you eat, it will open up the alimentary canal on both ends. But you learn by experience. You learn by watching the monkeys. What they eat, you are safe to eat. Because after all, you are also a monkey only. And then you have to cross rivulets and streams. That big rock which looks so solid is very shaky. The small one poking up is stable. So all this trudging through all these routes in rain and sun. He is searching, Guru kahan hai? And in the process, a month has gone. He has shed a lot of weight. Live on Bhiksha and Rishikesh, you will always lose weight, okay? I was 10 kilos lighter when I was there. Nothing to do, just live on Bhiksha there. Not in our ashram now. Now in ashram you'll put on 10 kilos. I'm talking of those days. So this guy lands up. Finally he finds one small dwelling. It's a small little cottage made of wood and leaves and everything. Rustic. And there are some saffron robes drying on a line there. This must be the place of some wise person. Intuitively he feels that. And there is a statement, Vrittapanim na pashyet devanam rishinam guru. Devanam rajanam guru. Don't go to a guru empty handed. Abhi kya karega? He looks around. I mean, what do I have to give him? I mean, I have nothing. Then he knows. Firewood is always necessary. In fact, collecting firewood on a daily basis becomes one of the chores in the ashram. Even in our ashram, the initial days, I'm talking about 70s, there was no gas connection, everything. We are cooking on wood fire, so you have to go and pick up wood and get. Later on you could buy it. There are places where they will collect and keep, you can go and buy it from them. But we have to do that. So he collects some firewood. Samit Panihi. This is how the tradition came up. Okay. Like I remember, one of my Guru Bhais bought Samit Panihi to Swami Dayananji in the ashram in Sandipani. What will he do with it? It's very romantic. What will he do with it in today's world? That guy is praised. I went and gave a bag full of money. But that's mundane. That is today's firewood, okay? Because you burn up money for everything, na? Same thing. Firewood only. Anyway, so he collects that, goes. And he goes prostrate to this elderly man there and bubbling with all the questions. All the questions he wants to ask. Relax, relax. Stay here for some time. Help me run the setup. And at the end of it, when you have clarified your questions, I'll tell you when you can ask, and if I know the answer, I will tell you. But this guy is burning for knowledge, so he is willing. आजकल तो स्टूडेंट्स भाग जाएगा ऐसा करेगा तो इवन फुल टाइमर्स विल रन. So he helps the old man run the setup, because now you have to cook for 2 people, not 1. You have to gather bhiksha here, there also. Calm hai. And after a week, the old man gets a desire. When you go for bhiksha, we get only dal roti. Why don't we put a small vegetable garden here? There's so much of place. Why don't we put a vegetable garden? Haan Maharaj. Okay, start working. You dig up, get some water, etc. But what will I get water with? Because they used to go for a bath, they are going to the Ganga anyway, to the river. So old man says, my kamandalu, you can take it and get water. No kutia is next to the river, okay? Rivers get in spate, it's dangerous. Kutia is always 100 feet up. Okay. Yeah. So now this guy is trudging up with a kamandalu of water, 1 liter of water. And he's put up a vegetable garden there, okay? The poor guy struggles and he does it. Wow. And he's got a lot of free time also. These are chores, no? They don't require any great intellectual this thing. So he's thinking. Finally, the old man says, okay, ask. All those 1000 questions he had comes down to just one. Kene shitam preshitam mana. The first verse of the Kenopanishad. And this story, I cut it short in 10 minutes, okay? Swami Chinmayanji, Gurudeva used to take at least half an hour, 45 minutes on the story. Very elaborately in his imitable style. But what I want you all to, what is the highlight of this? Stories can be plenty. The pramana is shabda, words. Shabda pramana. The Upanishad is shabda pramana. The words convey the truth. The teacher knows the truth. That vision of the truth has to go to the student. Every student has to validate the teacher's words. That means what? In the student's mind, there has to be a relevant thing. Yes, this is true. If it is not validated, if the truth, the pramana is not validated by you, you will get into theories like theory and practice, etc. Yeah, Vedanta is a nice theory. How to practice it? You don't. There is no practice. Finito. How do you experience it? You can't experience yourself. Finito. You have to validate it. It has to be validated in your life. How do you do that is a question. So the Upanishad, elsewhere, another Upanishad says, Pavana punyena shravanam kuryat. Punah, again and again, do shravanam. Understand exactly what the Shastra is saying. In the same way the Shastra is saying it. That's important. I get students asking me, can we put it like this? No, don't put it like that. Put it exactly how the Shastra has said it. Get it that way. This is not creative writing. Okay, this is not creative writing. You have to understand it exactly as it is. Then, when you assimilated it and made it your own, you can be creative when you are explaining it. That right is given to everyone who has validated and made it their own. But you have to be very careful. Creativity cannot be other than what the Shastra is saying. Yeah. Otherwise, you will get your own philosophies out of it. That cannot be. So, this need for validation is what is highlighted in the story actually. Go to a guru with a willingness to learn, to do whatever is necessary to learn, and validate that knowledge. Yeah. Validate means what? Understand it exactly like how the guru taught. That means my personal bias, my personal thing, all that has to be kept aside. Vairagya, objectivity, no personal bias, no background bias. Difficult, that's why it takes time. Because we always have some bias. No? We have a background, you can't avoid it. You have lived 20, 30, 40, 50 years or more. You have been exposed to a lot of things. How can you not have a bias, have a background? Now it can remain as a background or it can become a bias. That's up to you. Yeah. But the thought will be there. The ideas will be there. And sometimes certain things are your pet theories, you know. Yeah. I mean, you found it worked in your life up to now, whatever you had. It worked for you, which is good. But worked for what? to tackle some issue in life. That's good. That's good. You use this to tackle some issue in life. Acha. But that doesn't mean it is the truth. That's only tackling an issue. An issue can be tackled in 100 different ways. You found one way of tackling it. Good, it worked for you. Acha hai. But there's more to it. A very, very revered figure in India said it. When I have a problem, I look into the Gita and I get a solution. Probably. I think in this class itself, I showed it by opening a newspaper once, remember? Asked a question, opened a newspaper, and I picked up something and said, see, the solution. In this class I did it. Yeah. I can do that anytime. Yeah. Because something there will trigger off a line of thinking that will help you solve an issue. It is called associative thinking. And those words that you read, etc., you will interpret it in your own way in how it is relevant to you. That's fine. But that's not what the Shastra is saying. What is the Shastra saying is something more. Like I wrote a small article, in fact it's a mini article, negated some of Devdutt Patnaik's ideas. Because he had written about Holi. Normally the festival is over, I don't write about it. It's over now. Abhi kya likhne ka? Next year dekhega. He's saying Holi was very popular with the courtesans, but the Brahmins didn't like the courtesans, so they created a story that some woman was burnt. किधर से आया ये? The earth was parched, therefore they had to throw water on it. They're throwing colored water on each other, not on the earth. So nonsense like that, people write. Yeah. What does the Shastra have to say about it? Holika Dahanam, it's a fact that happened. If you're looking at it, look into the Puranas that deal with these things. No? Puranas are the source for it. Look into it. If you don't want to believe it, don't believe it. It's okay. I've got nothing to do. I'm interested in something else. That's fine. But don't change that by being the chief belief officer of that firm, which went bankrupt anyway. They had to sell it to somebody else. Which shows how the chief belief officer functioned with the belief systems in the company. He ran it to the ground. Those things apart. To validate the pramana becomes the most important thing. Therefore, it depends upon the teaching, it depends upon the student both. The teacher has to be very traditional in this, in the teaching part, not in the dressing part, okay? Not in the lifestyle part. In the teaching part, he has to be very traditional. And the student has to be unbiased, keep his biases aside. That's why Viveka, Vairagya, etc. is highlighted so much. We saw that in the last Upanishad we saw, Mundaka. Viveka, Vairagya, Shat Sampatti, Mumukshutvam. All that we saw. Because that becomes necessary. Otherwise it can't be validated. Otherwise you can receive the knowledge but you can't retain it. You can't validate it. It goes through your mind. So that's also highlighted in the story of Swami Chenmanji, that Guru Seva, etc., to prepare the mind. Be patient, wait, keep all your biases aside, because you're living a simple life. The daily input of the TV and the computer and the your phone and the social media, nahi hai. Gone. Yeah. So nothing to trigger your bias, etc. Because the Upanishad word is self-explanatory. We have seen this before. Two prefixes to the word, to the root. Upa and Ni. Upa meaning samipya, near. For the new students. Sitting near a guru, wrong. Near always has a reference point. That's why they say near a guru. Then all the people who are online will not gain the knowledge because you are nowhere near. Correct? Yeah. Some are sitting in Delhi, some are sitting in Calcutta, some are in UK. Kidhar near? Upa is near without a reference point. The near. What is the near? Me, I. The road is far, the gate to my building is near. The gate is far, the door to my flat is near. That is far, the laptop is near. That is far, this body is near. Who are the nearest? Me, I. Upa. Ni stands for Nishchayatmaka Jnanam, definite knowledge. So self-knowledge, in other words. Shad is what it does. Ajnanam nashayati, it destroys your ignorance. Anartha vratan visharati, all the things that you don't want. Your ragadvesha, your karma, etc. Wears it out. Brahma gamayati, three meanings of shad. Brahma gamayati, it takes you to Brahman, which is yourself. It looked far away because you didn't know it. A thing can be far either in terms of time and space or only in terms of ignorance. Yes. Yeah. So that is it. Upanishad stands for self-knowledge, which negates your ignorance about yourself, because what else can knowledge do? Makes you discover yourself as Brahman. The Upanishad is capable of doing it. It does it. The question is, are you capable of receiving it? Are you capable of validating it? That's why even listening is an art. Yeah. How do you listen to the truth? Relaxed, alert. Because you are alert, you don't want to miss anything. It is not like listening to Ramayana. The Kathakar is talking about Ramayana. Why Ramayana? Because Ram Navami is coming, okay? 2 weeks. In between you catch a nap, because generally they start after dinner. But because it goes on for 2-3 hours. Catch a nap, get up. Rama is still in the forest, not to be worried about. Vedanta class, you do that, you will be in the forest. Okay, my teacher's statement. You will get lost. So you don't want to miss anything, you have to be alert. But alert and tense, then you won't get anything. Alert but relaxed. There will be some inner leisure. That equipoise. Uparati it is called. You gain it by Swadharma Nishta. Either a life of Karma Yoga or a life of Sannyasa, whatever. There inner relaxation comes in. Fine. I am doing what has to be done. Abhi kya hai? But so much things have to be done. World can wait. It's only an hour. It was a big deal. It can wait. 1 hour the world cannot wait for you. If you feel no, it can't wait, that means you have a notion of yourself as being indispensable. And no person is indispensable. After Nehru, who? Then you got to have someone better, Indira Gandhi. After Indira Gandhi, who? You got someone, okay. Then after that, who? You got very good person. After him, who? Don't worry. India is a great country. Plenty of people will come up. No person is indispensable. Yeah, you can definitely leave an impact on the world that you are in. That much you can do. But you are not indispensable. So don't worry. Have that inner leisure to say, I'm doing what has to be done. Things can wait. Yeah. I'm saying this especially because I hear people online telling the maid what to do with their mic unmuted. Give me a break, okay? What does it take to finish that before you start a class? Come on. Or at least if you feel you're forced to do it, mute yourself and do it. I will mute, then they unmute it, and then they keep it unmuted and they're instructing the maid. Really, you expect to gain Vedanta Jnanam like that? I'm not being critical, I'm just pointing out certain facts that's happening. Upariti not there, Samadama not there. Yeah. Samadama not there. Titiksha not there. Acceptance of people, forget it. Someday I'll accept everyone except my mother-in-law. So, all this cloud my mind up and prevent me from knowing the truth. Yeah. Viveka, clarity of thought. If you have Viveka and Vairagya, in any issue that comes up for a discussion, you will be able to go to the core of the issue. Very often people are beating around the bush. So much so, when I was in college, I made a sick joke out of it. What is this? What is this? This is a point. What is this? Beating around the point. What is this? Going round and round the point. This is exactly what people do in a discussion. Where is the core issue? Viveka is there, you go to the core issue. Yeah. There are more if you all want. Contact me afterwards if you want more about the point. Okay. Like besides the point and all that thing also. Anyway, jokes apart, the idea is to have that focus. Be awareful, focused. Then you will get it. There is no way you can't get it. Why? The pramana is there. Your eyes are there. The pramana. The object of knowledge is there. The knower is there. How can knowledge not take place? Your eyes are there. Object of knowledge book is there. Means of knowing perception is there. How can you miss this book? You can't miss it. You can't but help see it. That's how easy knowledge, really speaking, is. Traditional example is given is Chaturthi ke Chand. Today is Chaturthi, I think. Yeah. Yesterday night, today morning. Chaturthi. Fourth day. The moon is just a crescent moon. And it is bad luck to see the fourth day moon. Traditional stories connected with Vinayaka, Ganesha. Bad luck. You are not supposed to see it. But when you get out in the evening, there's low on the horizon, you see it, you can't miss it. Why? Pramana is there, object is there, Pramata is there. How can you not see it? So, Simha, you actually speaking, I am not surprised why knowledge happens. I am surprised why it doesn't happen. Okay. Right? How do people miss it? That is why the Upanishad protects itself by giving all the qualifications. A pramana will work, any pramana will work under certain conditions. Like for perception to work, there has to be light. It will work only under certain given conditions. The Shabda pramana is the same. It will work only under certain conditions. Yeah. Like, will it work now? I am speaking. Is it working? You couldn't hear it, na? If you can't hear it, how will you expect to work? Minimum you have to hear it. Yeah. So same way, that's minimum. But the hearing is done through the ears and the mind backing it up. What is the nature of that mind? Because a peculiar knowledge. What you want to know is the same as what you want to be and is the same as what you are. No knowledge in the world is like that. What you want to know and what you want to be is one and the same thing. We study physics, but you don't want to be reduced into an atom and molecule. Exactly, what you want to know and what you want to be is different. Here it happens to be the same. So the knowledge is also peculiar to us. Okay? Knowledge is also peculiar in that sense. Yeah. So much for that. Then let us get into the text. Let us look at the Dhyana Sloka. Every Upanishad has the Dhyana Sloka. The Dhyana Sloka will depend upon this it belongs to. The Veda it belongs to. Like Kenopanishad belongs to the Samaveda. So the Dhyana Slokas will be from Samaveda also. Okay. Very simple. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranas Chakshukshotram Ato Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahmai Punishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarod Anirakarnamastu Anirakarnam Me Astu Tad Atmani Nirate Ja Upanishastu Dharmaha Te Mai Santu Te Mai Santu. Simple verse. Om Apyayantu Mamangani. Let all my limbs be strong and steady. May they be well developed. Vak pranas chakshukshotram. All my sense organs. Balam indriyani cha sarvani. Let them all be strong. Why? I want to know the truth, Baba. If my eyes are not seeing, my ears are not hearing, how will I see? It's okay if you need some corrections. That's all right. But are they basic? Do you have basic functional health, functional fitness? Minimum. Okay. If you have more, well and good. Okay. So, all this may it be in good condition. Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam. Everything is nothing but Brahman mentioned in the Upanishad. And that's what I am trying to know. Therefore, Maham Brahma Nirakuryat. May I not turn away from this Brahman, turn away from the pursuit, turn away from Ishvara. We do that. Pseudo students of Vedanta, it happens. I am not interested in Ishvara, I am interested in Brahman straight. Okay, do I care? Brahman and Ishvara? You are saying everything is one and now you are creating duality there itself. Therefore, Sarva Maham Brahma Nirakuryam. Mama Brahma Nirakarod. May Brahman not reject me. Why should Brahman reject you? Ishvara we are talking about. Why? Because of your karma phala. I have seen this in people. They may have moksha ichcha. But if you look into the horoscopes, some Guru Droham etc. is there in that. Therefore, even if they meet the right teacher, they just can't study. They just can't gain it. They just can't. I knew this lady, she stays close by. She knows me well. Okay. She has seen me ever since she was a kid. She's about 10 years younger than me. She's seen me as a kid. So I can understand if she can't study from me. अरे ये तो अपना मोहन है. These are Mogan. How can you? And they'll say also, I can't relate to a Swami Brahmavidanam. You're Mohan. I said, fine. Ki farak pehinde. Mustn't make any difference to me what you call me. Yeah. So she can't study from me. Understandable. There are quite a few like that. Therefore, I used to organize my teacher's talk. 25 years, every year I used to organize Swamiji's talks in Bombay. It takes a lot of time, effort, funds, raising funds, all that. I used to do that. And this lady is speaking to another friend of mine who comes to the talk regularly, saying, this year I will miss Swamiji's talks. She said, why? Because I am reading Guru Charitam. It's a book in Marathi. Why do you read Guru Charitam? You read Guru Charitam so that a good Guru, you will get a good Guru. अरे गुरु तो द्वार खड़ा है आपको, is right here in the city. I got him all the way from Rishikesh here. Come and learn. No, I have to read Guru Charitam. Some problem. कुछ गुरुद्रोह एक्सेट्रा प्रीवियस लाइफ टाइम करेगा उधर. आई हैव नॉट check the person's horoscope because he doesn't believe in it. So my astrologer friend has a good term for it. Anubhava yogam, they have to go through their anubhava. अब क्या करेगा? That is the thing. That Brahman rejecting me happens like this. Because of some karma phala. Some karma phala. Yeah.
Swamiji, does free will play a part in this?
Of course, free will plays a part. You have to choose. You think it was easy for me to gain this knowledge? Of course not. Yeah. The whole society got topsy-turvy when I walked off to study. Yeah. You have to make that effort. Yeah. Coming to the teacher is your job. Teaching is his job. Mama Brahma Nirakarod Anirakarnamastu me Anirakarnamastu me astu. Let there be no rejection of the whole thing. Other rejections can happen. I got upset with what the teacher said. The teacher's job is not to say you're great, you're good all the time. If there is something wrong, the teacher has to say it is wrong. Otherwise, he is failing in his job. You get upset with it. All right, you got upset. That's another way of rejecting the knowledge. No? I mean, I say things mildly, I am confrontative. When after 20 years I find people are not progressing, then I start confronting. Until that I let it be. Until that I let it be. Yeah. But somewhere you have to also know. That time you can choose. My teacher has been dismissive of me in so many places. You choose whether you want to learn and grow or get hurt and walk away. Your choice. That's where your free will comes in. Are you committed to the learning enough? Therefore, come what may, you will learn. I remember I confronted with a lady, a young girl who was coming into my class in a camp with some truth about it. She got very upset with me. She walked out of the class. Then in half an hour came back. I said, what happened? I am not upset that you confronted me about it. I am upset that you didn't confront me earlier. I said, good. And some of you know Sahaya Sahib. You know what he told her? स्वामी तो बड़ा हॉर्स ट्रेनर है, तो सब अरबी घोड़े को ट्रेन करता है, और हम लोग ये टट्टू को क्या फर्क पड़ता है. That is his way of putting it and consoling her. The idea is this: I can choose to get upset, or I can choose to learn and grow. It's all part of the game. Therefore, this nirakaranam happens when these things are not there. When these things are not there, then nirakaranam happens. Of course, if the teacher is abusive thing, that's a different thing, okay? Unethical, abusive, all that is not included in this. We are talking about a teacher who is worth the name teacher. So, for a confrontation happens, he corrects you on something, that's a different thing, okay? Then tadatmini nirate, ya upanishadu dharma, with respect to the atma, meaning the knowledge of the self. The dharma, the qualities mentioned in the Upanishad, viveka, vairagya, etc. Te mai santu, may it be there in me. You look at what you are praying for. You are praying for knowledge, you are praying for all the prepared mind, everything. With that you are coming to learn. So the students in the Upanishad are all adhikaris. Adhikaris means what? They are qualified to know. Adhikar hai. Okay? They are qualified to know. They have all the qualities necessary. Though there has been students in the Upanishad who didn't have that also. This is the story of Indra and Virochana. Both of them went to Brahmaji to learn. Indra is the king of the gods, Virochana the king of the Rakshasas. Both. Adi Devo Brahmeti, teach me what is Brahman. The Purusha that you see in your eye is Brahman. So both looked into a mirror. Fine. I am Brahman, that's what he is saying. No, theek hai. Both of them went. So Virochana went back to the people. Hey, Brahmaji has confirmed we are all Brahman. Khao, piyo, maja karo. Have a great time. There is no other truth beyond that. Indra halfway back, he said, hey, stop, what am I doing? I am in this body, this can't be a Brahman. He goes back. He goes back to learn. So ऐसा भी होता है, okay? ऐसा भी होता है, because Annam Brahmeti, we'll see in Taittiriya, is only a starting point. Is this Brahman? Of course this is Brahman. They're not different from Brahman. But does being Brahman stop with the body? No, it's much more. So that is called Chandrashakha Nyaya. You use step by step to point out what the reality is. So with that, okay, so now the Kenopanishad. There's a bunch of students here, okay? There's not only one student. You'll find later on this as the text proceeds. There's a bunch of students sitting around and learning. One guy asked this question. What is the question? At least that we can see. Om keneshitam patitam preshitam manaha kena pranaha pratama praiti yuktaha keneshitam vacham imam vadanti chakshukshotram tu udevo yunakti kena ishitam preshitam va manah patati. 2 words. How does the mind go outwards to know things? Kena ishitam, impelled by someone, or preshitam. Now what is preshitam? Ishitam is, okay, directing the mind, go do this. Okay. Like the king telling his commander, go beef up the security on the border. Ishitam. Or preshitam, the king sits and the court starts functioning. Preshitam, best by presence. So the student, being a student, has a doubt. Is there some Deva, some effulgent one? Deva means a conscious entity, an effulgent entity. Does he direct the mind, or in the presence of the mind of him, the mind functions? Ishitam, Preshitam va. Keneshitam, Preshitam, Keneshitam patati, Preshitam manaha. The translation will show directed, in the presence of which. Okay? Yeah. Kena pranaha pratama praiti yuktaha. How does the prana start functioning? Because it seems to be involuntary. You don't have to do anything to the prana to function. It happens. Kene shidam vachamimam vadanti. Impelled by what? You are capable of speech. You are capable. You speak because a lot of internal pressure. That's a different thing. But what makes you capable? Chakshishotram chu deva yunakti. Who is the effulgent being because of which all the sense organs of mine are functioning? That means simple. What is it that is making me functional? Is someone impelling me to do that? Or in the presence of something is it happening? It looks like a biological question. No? A question of biology. How does the mind work? How does the organs work? No. Somebody said that this looks like a biological question. Why it is not a biological question? Because of the use of those two words. Ishitam, Preshitam va. The mind was somebody is impelling the mind, or in the presence of mind it is happening. In other words, what makes me alive? What is it that is making me awareful? Because without being awareful, how does the mind function? How does the sense organ function? Because by itself it is dead. By itself, like in deep sleep, etc. See, that experience of the world the student has. Mind is not functioning in deep sleep. Youngsters, whether they are in a Gurukulam or they are in an ashram setup or in a college setup, they are the same. Somebody is sleeping, you will pick up him along with the bed and put him outside. This type of mischief is done everywhere. Okay, yeah, we all have done it. So in sleep I was not aware of anything. Good experience. Why? What do you learn from that experience? Not to blame somebody you have found who did it, I'll get my revenge. Yeah. I was carried away, I didn't even realize that. I was dead to the world. Yeah. I'm awareful, alert when it comes to functioning, but here I was completely gone. So what happened? What happened? Ishitam, Preshitam, what is it? What is it that's making me awareful? By itself I am not awareful. Mind is not awareful, and deep sleep is not awareful. Body is not awareful by itself. It's only when I am awake, my body becomes awareful to do things, sentient enough to function. Even there, sometimes I see, but I don't see. Somebody is standing in front of me, my thought is elsewhere, I don't see the person. Until given time, hey, what happened? Oh, sorry, I was elsewhere. We all have got through the experience. Yeah. We don't hear. Yeah. Mind is elsewhere, certain things are not heard. Yeah. It happens. Therefore, by itself, body, mind, sense organs, etc. are not awareful. Then what makes it awareful? Is it impelled by or is in the presence of? He is a student, therefore he doesn't know what is it. Presence of it or impelled. Both has its own issues, okay? You know some presence, it has its own issues. What do you think, the self is a magnet or what? Or is it impelling? Telling the mind, hey, go, get up. Because you got up without anyone else waking you. No? You got up 5 minutes before the alarm went off. No? Who woke you? Did the awareness say, oh, get up, chalo? For Ishitam, oh, Preshitam. No, yeah, I felt impelled to say this. So Preshitam or Ishitam, what is it? Valid question. A valid question. It's a question directly dealing with the nature of you, not a biology question. Yeah. What makes you alive? What makes you functional? What is it? What is the secret of your functioning? Okay. That's it. Okay. And the Guru straight recognizing it jumps into the answer. Okay. And he gives the answer in a very funny manner, which you all can think about a bit also. Shotrasya shotram manaso manayad vacho hi vacham sa u pranasya pranaha चक्षुक्षोत्रम अतिमुच्य धीराः प्रेत्यस्मान् लोकाद् अमृतो भवन्ति. He answers in the same manner. Shotrasya shotram. It is the year of the year. You mean to say there is another year behind it? That is impelling this year to year. If that is true, then there will have to be another year behind that, no? So the year of the year cannot be an year. Then it has to be the mind. Manaso manahyate. The mind of the mind. Mind of the mind cannot be another mind. Because then that mind will require another mind to impel it. Vacho hi vacham is the speech of the speech. So it cannot be your voice box. It has to be something else. Pranasya pranaha. The prana of the prana. Prana of the prana cannot be a prana because the same, it will go ad infinitum, regress. Because that prana will require another prana, will require another prana, will require another prana. Same thing will happen. Chakshusas chakshu atimuchya dhira. When you are free from all this, asman lokan pretya, giving up this world, amritaha bhavanti, you are nothing but immortal. ये क्या बात है? Eye of the eye, ear of the ear, ये कुछ आंसर है क्या? The Guru must have seen the doubt in the student's face. Therefore, he goes into the next verse. I'll deal both the verses together. It was important to see the next verse also and come back. Na tatra chakshur gacchati, na vag gacchati no manaha, na vidma na vijani maha, ete etad anushishya. He says, it is the eye of the eye, therefore the eye cannot go there. Na tatra chakshur gacchati. It is the speech of the speech, therefore words cannot go there, nor the mind go there. It is not objectified by your sense organs or the mind. Na vidmaha, na vijani maha. I don't know of any other way of teaching it. I don't know of any other way of teaching this. सब कुछ बोलने का बोल दिया और क्या है? Whatever has to be said is that. There's one little bit left which you'll say in the next verse. Now look at what he has said up to now. It is something that makes the eyes and mind etc. function. But itself cannot be an object to the eyes, mind etc. Correct? In the two verses this is clear. Okay? It is independent of the eyes and mind etc. It's independent of the sense organs of the mind. The sense organs in the mind cannot objectify it. It is because of this I that everything functions. You are a functioning entity, a awareful being. Because of you are awareful, mind, sense organs, etc. function. But that I cannot be objectified by your mind or your sense organs. In other words, they are dependent on you, you are independent of them. Therefore, you are that awareful being. Now you know why I did the meditation before. Last class. Yeah, it's a method in it. It is you. Okay. So the truth that you are seeking for, in other words, you enliven the mind and the sense organs, you are independent of the mind and the sense organs. They are inert by themselves, you make them alive. And they can't objectify you, you can objectify them. Please, here at this point, don't use the word beyond, etc. Problematic, because you're right here. I'm talking about the you, I. That's right now thinking, feeling, seeing, hearing. And I'm saying all this depends on you, you are enliving all of them. And you cannot be objectified by any of them, you objectify all of them. Please don't go and put the Atma in Timbuktu. It won't work. Kenopanishad won't work. You will say, I finished Kenopanishad. Yeah, you finished it off. Are you getting what is said or not? Shilpi has a question? Shoot.
Swamiji, but it still does not clarify whether it impels or it's...
Okay. Do you have to really impel your eye to see? Do you have to tell your eyes, now come on, look at that thing and see it?
No.
So in your presence, because we said the eye of the eye, that means in the presence of you, it becomes awareful. Can you see? So in your presence,
Yeah.
all these functions in your presence.
Right, Swamiji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Swamiji.
That's what happens. It's not over. There are a couple of verses more. Okay. There are a couple of verses more, but I definitely want all of you to think of this. Do some mananam on this. Eye of the eye, ear of the ear. Then the fact you are awareful being will be very, very clear. फिर उसका बाद वो मेडिटेशन किया नहीं किया फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. If you do this here. Okay, so do that. Okay. And then we will go ahead with the other verses. Okay, any questions or it's clear? So you have 1 week to think about it, okay? Yeah, Shalpi.
Swamiji, that story that you said, that was the introduction that is there here, or this introduction?
No, that's the introduction Swami Chinmayanji used to give.
So this introduction that's in here,
No, that is different. No. That's about karma, khandanam and all. I didn't want to go into the bhashya part of it. That can be very confusing, so I didn't go into that. That sometimes when you can graduate enough to do the bhashyas, I will do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Okay. So there's just a story highlighting the necessity to validate this knowledge, to make it your own.
Swamiji,
Yeah?
Swamiji, actually, I want to know how do you do manana?
By challenging your understanding, by questioning your understanding.
Okay.
Yeah. You question yourself.
Okay.
What you understood is correct or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Swami.
Okay. So reflect on this thing.
So Swamiji, what happens actually, how the Guru is telling the Shishya that you have to validate the knowledge. I didn't get that, the last part. Like,
Yeah, you have to validate means what? You have to make it true in your life. You have to make the knowledge your own. Otherwise, you are just repeating certain things. That's the difference between academic studies and a value based study, where your value is your moksha. In an academic study, value is not moksha. In a traditional study, the value is moksha. So you base on that and study it. Then it will get validated. Am I studying a subject or am I studying about me being free? Or am I studying one Upanishad done, another Upanishad done, another various concepts in various Upanishads? The moment he starts talking like that, I know your guy doesn't know anything. Think about it. We'll see more next class. Okay. Om Tat Sat.